Hello, everyone, and welcome to another We Are One, You Are Two PlayStation podcast. We are back for episode 12 of this thing that we do. I'm your host, as always, Rob Fanzo, joined once again by Mr. Rocket League aficionado himself, Matt Rhodes.
Hello there, Rocket League boosters.
Ooh, and if you like what you hear, you can find us on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube every Sunday evenings, earlier some weeks, later if our lives are crazy. I try to be consistent, though. Matt, we got a good show lined up for listeners this week. There's pretty much no news, so we can talk about whatever we want, as well as the little bit of news that I did find this week as well. And so we'll jump into a little bit about Fortnite, a JRP that was banned in England, PS4 Monster Hunter World sales, and of course, Good God of War. We'll talk a little bit about that and some other things as well. And then we'll move on from there. But before I forget, my out-of-pocket podcast, or not podcast, my out-of-pocket playthrough is nearly finished. It'll be a Patreon exclusive and revolves around me playing games you're not sure whether you want to buy or not. So if you want to check that out, just watch a playthrough or just kind of enjoy it. Head over to Patreon, check that out. You get a lot of other cool benefits as well, so be sure to check that out. But first, Matt, I think it's only fair if we open up with what we always do by talking about what we've been playing with this week.
What are we playing? Well, I just got finished playing Rocket League, so, there's that.
Uh-huh. How's that going?
It's going pretty well. It's been back and forth. They got that spring fever event going on now, so it's, sometimes you just want to play it, you know what I mean? So, I'll play, either, solo or, standard, so that way I don't have to, worry about my ranking in twos. Just because, I just want to play online matches so I can get those little flower coins or whatever the heck they are.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's going pretty well. And then, I don't know, I'm just, Monster Hunter World's also right up there with it, of course. And I'm excited to I saw the little thing saying update installed as I was playing the Rocket League just now, and I'm excited for this what is it, Devilejo is the new monster?
Because I got a bunch of announcements about that last night. That actually went live last night. So I did see that, so I'm kind of excited about that too. And that's also what I've been playing is some Monster Hunter. Actually, I've been playing a lot of Prey from last year.
Okay.
That game finally got its hooks in me, and it feels so good once you start really upgrading stuff. It really is kind of like BioShock in space.
Oh, okay.
And then I've been playing a lot of Super Hot in VR this week.
Yeah.
And oh, goodness, that is so much fun. It's if you've ever wanted to just feel like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, or any like Max Payne, first person Max Payne. That's pretty much, just the dodging of the bullets, hitting a guy in the head with a glass bottle, and then catching his gun midair and firing it off at a couple other guys. Just ridiculously fun. I didn't realize how good that was. I spent at least an hour in it the other night, not realizing I thought 15 minutes had gone by.
And this is VR, right?
Yeah. And so it's actually, what I learned, I didn't know this, it's actually separate from Super Hot. So if you play Super Hot, you'll get one experience. If you play Super Hot VR, it has some of the levels are similar, but it's also got kind of a side thing going where some of it's different. And you teleport from spot to spot, and then there's weapons laying around you, or guys coming at you, and you have to dodge the bullets until they can get close enough for you to steal the gun, stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe I'll live stream it or something, but it's a very different experience. It actually makes me want to go buy Super Hot as well. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just the same thing. One was VR and the other one wasn't, but after playing it, I realized now that one is stationary, the other one you can move around a little bit, but the levels are different too, apparently, some of the levels. So it's as if they made almost a different game out of it.
That's kind of cool that developers did that then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That they made it two different experiences.
Yeah. And so that's what I was worried about. I thought, well, if I get one and I play it, then I won't want to experience the other. But I'm sure it's also very different when you can move around to dodge stuff rather than having to stay stationary and swivel around in your chair or standing up like I did.
Sure.
So
Makes sense.
that's pretty much it for. Oh, you know what? The other thing I've been playing a lot of my Vita. I've been playing a lot of Titan Souls. I'm almost finished with it.
Ooh, so close yet so far.
Yeah, I've got the last two. And we can talk about that maybe when we talk about trophies too a little bit later. But I've got the last two guys left, and the trophies are just so frustrating in that game. But we'll dive into that later.
Sure.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead.
I want to say for our listeners out there real quick, before we go into anything else, that there's a lovely chainsaw going off in the background.
Yeah, we got to acknowledge the chainsaw.
Normally it's an ambulance, but we've upgraded this week to a chainsaw. So it'll be more consistent, I would say, than the ambulance, because, you know, ambulances have a place to go, whereas the chainsaw has no place to go except through whatever tree it's cutting. So, you know, if you hear a little chainsaw in the background, our guy Dave probably did his best so that you could not hear it, but I can tell just from my little sound bar that I'm watching on Audacity that we're recording that it just gets like this weird thickness as soon as that chainsaw fires up. So
what we need to do is use that as an opening to one of our segments, just the chainsaw, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's how we'll transition.
Yeah, they'll be like, what is this?
Yeah. So. Hey, you know, we do what we can to bring you an authentic experience.
That's right.
To this, right? So this is. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at that chainsaw. This is PS-N PlayStation-News, although it's not always PlayStation news. So we're gonna cover the top 5 stories that we decided on for this week and the things beyond. And so. I mentioned in the very beginning a couple of them. I think I'll hit up on one that's an honorable mention that I actually don't have on our list here, and that's that there was a JRPG that was actually the rating they refused to rate over in England. I can't talk this week.
Refused to rate it?
Yeah, they labeled it as or called it basically called it pornography. And felt
that's my kind of game.
Yeah, it was the first game in over 10 years to not receive a rating in England, and so
what's the game called?
You know what? That is an excellent question, and that is one that I wish I had remembered to write down, and so I'm going to look it up real quick while we can. But I'll come back to that. We'll touch on some of the other news as well. We can kind of talk about that a little bit more because I do think that is rather. I don't want to say funny, but interesting, perhaps, that they chose to do that. So we'll move on and cover some of the other ones, and we'll jump back to
Omega Labyrinth Z.
That's it. I knew it was, Omega Labyrinth Z, right? Refused classification.
And, yeah, I mean, just the screenshot they have on this whatever like Sci-Fi Wire website that I saw that I see this little article on, it's just a bunch of Japanese schoolgirls. So
well, what happens with the game too is you have to collect panties and underwear and things like that in order to, I believe, level up your character. It's like currency in the game.
Yeah.
And so, they chose to ban that, and so. Sorry, if you're in jolly old England listening to us, you'll never get Omega's Labyrinth Z unless you import it.
Wow.
So
it's sad. But what if people want to, a cross between Revenge of the Nerds and Ni no Kuni 2, you know? Well, no, I guess it'd probably be more like Persona 5, I guess. Just based on, what it looks like. It's probably like a school kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably your typical JRPG that's right. An anime game that's straight out of UK. Yeah. So, but yeah, you have to arouse female characters.
Straight out of Japan, you mean? Not UK.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, sorry.
I mean, it could be out of the UK. I don't know, but I would imagine it's probably.
The last game actually to get banned in the UK was in 2008 was Rockstar's Manhunt 2. And so that was the one that, it's been 10 years almost exactly since that happened.
Wait, which one? What game?
Manhunt. The second Manhunt.
Oh my gosh. I want them to make a new one of those. That game was so I mean, it was screwed up. It was. But it was really good.
Yeah. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Right.
So the other news stories I have here tie in with PS4 mostly. But one ties in with Ubisoft more than just PS4. And so the first one I want to talk about was PS4 was the top selling console in February. Monster Hunter for the second month in a row is the top selling game.
Of course.
And if you look at that list, number 5 on there is GTA 5.
What?
And I was like, who the hell is still buying that game? Who doesn't own that game yet in some version?
That's crazy.
I mean, I understand Dragon Ball Fighters. I understand NBA 2K because those sell well every year. I understand Call of Duty. I understand Mario Kart, Super Mario Odyssey, Tom Clancy, Rainbow Six, because they keep releasing stuff for that. But GTA 5 is just, it prints money. Like, I don't think they have to make another game. I know they have Red Dead coming out.
Are these new purchases, or are these just like...
Yeah, these are new purchases. No, these are not in-game purchases. These are brand new. Hey, I bought it for the first time. So you tell me who's still buying that game. I have no
nuts. Idea. Yeah. It was originally released in 2013, and it's still number 5 on the list. How crazy is that?
I know. Every month I feel like it does that. Insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of insane, Fortnite released on mobile, and it raked in $1 million on in-app purchases within the first 72 hours.
What?
And the game has worldwide raked in over 1.5 million. And that's because it's only on iOS too. It's not even on other systems, believe it or not.
Well, yeah, it's always Apple first, because that's one streamlined system as opposed to Android, and they have to like adjust it to all different kind of things.
But I just thought that was insane as well.
I guess we gotta do what we gotta. I guess we finally gotta do a let's play for it.
Oh, we're going to do something. Well, I don't know if you saw too, tying in with this, Tyler Ninja Blevins. He's a famous streamer.
Okay.
He goes by the name of Ninja. He had Drake on there to help him stream playing Fortnite. And he was one of celebrities that joined him in his stream last week. And he disclosed to a news station that he earns about $500,000 a month streaming Fortnite.
How?
Just on Twitch. People donating.
People donate that much money just to watch him.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. I know. And they get to listen to us for free. Unbelievable.
I don't even know what to say to that. Is he interesting? Like, is he good? Like, I don't get it.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched him. I know Dr. Disrespect probably makes almost that much too. But he's a persona.
Exactly. He has like a character that he is. I mean, is this guy like pretend to be a ninja while he's playing? I don't get, you know what I mean?
I'll be honest. I know I sound out of touch. I have no idea. We'd have to check that out. So
yeah, I guess we will.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do our Fortnite this weekend, I think, and then get that up sometime in the next week.
Yeah, maybe we can make.
If you want to watch the opposite of Ninja,
I mean, if we made 1/10 of that, I'd be more. 10% of that, I'd be fine.
No, tell me about it. All right, but we do this because we love it.
We could just do this and stream on Twitch.
Hey, the more you support us, cheap plug here, the more you support us, the more shows we can do. So head over to Patreon. And we'll make this a podcast. We'll make this a video cast.
Oh, fancy.
Uh-huh. All right. Let's jump down to, we're going to hold off on number 3 for a moment. Let's jump down to number 4. Cyberpunk 2077, CG Project Red's little baby that's coming after The Witcher 3. They basically confirmed at GDC this week that more or less they're not ready to talk about it yet, but they'll probably show something at E3. But they did mention that it is not going to include any multiplayer, which is fine by me. And that's the game that is coming out that has been in development since probably 2014, 2015. And they basically said is bigger and more ambitious in scope than The Witcher 3. And so I can't wait for E3. That's 2 months away, 3 months away. We'll see what happens and what they do.
Single player experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a multiplayer expansion.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that too, actually, honestly.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The Witcher was so good, right? So, if it's anything close to that, I'm sure the single player will be fine.
Oh yeah, it'll crush things. I have no doubt about it. Number 5, Vivendi's battle with Ubisoft has finally come to an end. I feel like they've been trying to take over Ubisoft for like the last 4 years, easily. They finally gave up when Vivendi agreed to sell its entire stake in Ubisoft's company, entire shares. They owned 27% of Ubisoft, so about a third of them. And they were hoping to acquire enough to own half the company and then just take it completely over.
Wow.
And so they decided not to do that, and they have agreed to sell all that off. And that means that Ubisoft will remain an independent publisher, which is so funny considering how big they are to say that. But they are going to end that. So they'll sell out their stuff. And yeah, that did start back in 2016. So it's been a few years. And that's fine with me because honestly, Ubisoft does so well on its own. It doesn't need anybody else running it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. So my honorable mention, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick was Atari revealed their system this week at GDC as well. It's called Atari VCS. Pre-orders are coming in April, and that's about all we know. That and the fact that it's about the size of a hard drive, or a little bit bigger. It comes with a retro.
So then, is it gonna be like a retro thing, like mini NES kind of then, or?
The only thing that I could gather that they said was that you'll be able to play old and updated versions of classic Atari games as well as other third-party games, and that's all they said. It comes with a Microsoft Xbox looking controller. It looks just like one. They basically ripped it off. It also comes with a classic Atari joystick. They didn't give a price. They didn't give a release date. All they said that it would be coming soon. You could pre-order in April, and it would be a digital-only kind of console. And so I imagine it's going to be like an Ouya.
A what?
The Ouya console that came out, the Ouya, Ouya, that basically just played mobile games on your TV.
Never heard of it.
I know a lot of people haven't because it's, but it came out like maybe 3 years ago, and it just flopped. But we'll see what happens. I think depending on how Atari markets this, it might be fun to have, but if it's too expensive, it's going to be a complete piece of trash. I don't anticipate them doing anything fantastic with it. I don't expect any original games. I think it'll just all be retro. Maybe they'll have some companies do some remakes or updated versions of games.
Right.
But it'll be I really wish I had like an emulator to play all the old games. It'll be something like that where you're able to digitally buy basically all of Atari's collection all over again.
Huh.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The last piece of news that I skipped, number 3, because this might lead us into one of the things we want to talk about today, is God of War's first 3 hours have been previewed by a lot of people in the industry at GDC this week. And what I think is so cool about it is they basically talked about, and I know IGN mentioned this, that it's a blend of Uncharted, The Last of Us, and even Dark Souls. And so we can talk a little bit about that. And what that might look like. And a lot of people walked away with it saying that it is much more modern and much more developed than its predecessors. So, but yeah, it's previewed very well. And for the first time, I'm actually super pumped about it. So,
see, I never played any of them.
I didn't either. And so
I even got the God of War collection, and I just never played
them.
Yeah.
I know, same way.
Because it was like one of those, it was one of those crazy years with, Black Friday where it was like super cheap. I was like, oh, I'll get it. I'll play that. These are, really good games. And then, nope.
Yep. Same thing. Same issue. Never played through it. So topic of conversation, I think we can talk about this a little bit and see if we want to cover anything else as well. But I did want to talk about, what and this ties in with God of War. What's going on with the influences there, the Uncharted, The Last of Us, and Dark Souls, especially it sounds like with the combat, because you're shielding and parrying and watching, it might sound like you might be watching some stamina, perhaps. And what I wanted to ask you is, does that make you more excited to kind of play, if it's got shades of those types of games, to play a game like that you and I just, like you said, never touched or never got around to?
See, I don't know. See, personally, even though I never played it, I like the button mashing games.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I never mind those kind of games. So for me to hear it change to like Dark Souls makes me a little nervous. Now it's lumped in there with games like Uncharted and
Last
of Us. You know what I mean? And those were amazing games, and I loved every minute of those games. So if it's more that than Dark Souls, you know, I'm more than okay with that. But that kind of, you know, deters me a little bit, you know, because I mean, and that's, you know, that's the good and bad thing about influences, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're taking these influences because they're, you know, multi-million sellers or whatever, but there are people that just don't like those games. And, you know, if they think that it's going to affect the franchise enough where it will be a game that's not like God of War has been, then maybe they won't play it.
Right. And that's, you know,
maybe those hardcore like button mashers won't really want to take a chance on it.
Well, and that's what I was wondering. But the more I think about it too, I do think the Dark Souls influence probably won't be massive. I think it'll probably be more along the lines of just did you play Hellblade?
No.
Okay, so Hellblade.
I bought it.
Well, first off,
I have it. I know it's
game.
So good.
And it's only a couple hours long. I mean, it's maybe 6-7 hours long, but you could easily finish it in a day with your schedule, I think.
Maybe I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah, you could knock it out. But there's a lot of Dark Souls influence in that sense, in that fact that you're parrying, you're blocking, you're rolling, you're dodging. Yeah. But it's not the frustration level of Dark Souls. And so I think they probably will take away the frustration level and just the mechanics are there.
Right. Well, then that's fine.
Because you played Origins, right?
Huh?
You played Origins?
Yeah.
Was there not blocking and parrying and, attacking in there?
A little bit, dodging? But I don't think it was as bad. You know, I don't think it was like anywhere near. Personally, I don't think it was anywhere near
Souls level.
Souls, yeah.
Well, and I wouldn't expect it to be, but I do think that's the mechanic they're aiming for. It's kind of like more like an Origins type play. Style. And so that also makes me think of Hellblade. And so that's that's something we can talk about. Like, or that I think is important is there are those influencers, and I think people love those types of games. But you do see it's kind of like how Batman Arkham games changed some of those button mashers, right? If you look at Spider-Man that's coming out, that's a Sony exclusive later this year. That very much looks like it has the combo system or the system of Batman, of the Arkham games. And so I will gladly take that type of influence. Or if you think of the way that, honestly, BioShock influenced first-person narratives in shooter games.
Right, yeah.
Look at last year. We had a Doom narrative where you're actually supposed to care about the story. We have Wolfenstein that has... both those games had fantastic narratives. Titanfall 2, when it got a single-player campaign, has a fantastic narrative. But I do think that you look back and go, well, where did that start? I do think BioShock has a lot to do with that. And you could argue Call of Duty's always had that narrative, but not to the level, I think.
Right.
That BioShock raised it. And look at, GTA Online and GTA 5. That's clearly going to shape how Rockstar creates Red Dead.
Oh, of course.
And so you have all these games that are influencers, and I don't mind it as long as it's not overly saturated.
With Rockstar, though, it's the same company, so that's more of like I think personally that's more of like you understanding that this is the developer and this is how they develop games.
Well, look at this. Yeah, and I agree. But look at it this way: if GTA Online had flopped, do you think we'd have Red Dead Online coming up? I'm sure in Red Dead 2.
Oh no, absolutely not.
No, you wouldn't. And it's just
also if it would have flopped, we probably would have Red Dead 2 earlier.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, actually, I guarantee I'd like to see happen, just because I think we talked a little bit about it before, and I think that this is again where influence can be a positive thing. The PUBG Fortnite craze. Guarantee you find that in Battlefield later this year. Guaranteed you find that in Red Dead 2 later this year. Don't be surprised if those modes pop up in there.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, I mean, that kind of influence isn't bad. But I do think, I can't wait to see how it goes. And I think that actually is the reason, that influence, like we said about Uncharted and Last of Us, and I think that's the cinematic storytelling. And if you look at God of War, the fact he has a son in this one plays on the fact of The Last of Us, and it makes me think of Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's why I think I'll actually care about this God of War and play it rather than the other ones, which I like button mashers too. I just hate Kratos as a character. I think he's a waste of angry human demigod, whatever he is, god emotion. I just can't stand his character. And so maybe I'll actually care now that he's old and has feelings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was trying to think of other games that had influences that, are really apparent. I couldn't think of any off the top of them. Well, I mean, Resident Evil obviously influenced any horror game, any horror survival game, right? That's when you got your Silent Hills back in the day and Evil Within and all of those. So that's also scary too, though, because sometimes what I worry about is too much influence can shy developers away from trying new and innovative things.
Right.
And then we end up with a lot of Doom replicas or Fortnite replicas.
Right. That's the last thing I want.
Yeah, and that can stagnate development sometimes. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. A lot of smaller stuff that's coming out. So we'll see what happens. So the other thing that we'll bring up here is, and this actually ties in nicely with Fortnite, what we were just talking about with influence, is celebrities in gaming. Not just voice actors, but certainly now the fact that, and I think I linked in here a good old Tribune Review article from Pittsburgh, our hometown there, with Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah, from the Steelers. He joined Drake and other celebrities to play that with Tyler Ninja Blevins, right? To play Fortnite. And so this kind of is a blended conversation, but how much do celebrities, whether they're voice actors in games or gamers like this, influence our purchasing options?
Well, see, I don't know. I feel personally that them as voice actors don't necessarily affect me in that way. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it, but it doesn't affect my mood as far as whether I'm going to purchase the game or not. It doesn't make or break it for me personally, whether they're voice acting in it. However, I can see where celebrities playing it, like Fortnite or whatever, would just do the opposite. Would just boost sales. We're like, oh man, I can't believe Drake plays this game. What? I need to play this game. You know what I mean? I can't believe all these football players. I can't believe all these people are playing this game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, I think that's kind of what, is kind of playing into it. So the voice acting, not necessarily so much, but I do enjoy that. Because, these are world-class actors, right?
Yeah. So Gary Oldman's one that's done several games from what I was looking at.
Yeah. And, you see these and Gary Oldman himself is just, an amazing actor. So you see that, and then, it certainly helps, but I feel like it just enhances the experience in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, they can act as well as they can, but if the writing's not there, then, if the company or the, whoever's producing it or developing it has put the money into the actor and not the writing as well, then, maybe not so great. Because, I mean, look at Beyond Two Souls. Willem Dafoe and
Ellen Page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how well did it do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not great from what I remember.
Not me.
I mean, I played it. I platinumed it. I mean, it was a very enjoyable game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it was critically acclaimed in any way.
No, it was mixed bag.
Yeah. So, I mean, did they spend too much on getting those two people and not enough on, making sure the story was kind of well-rounded and thought out?
Yeah, I think David Cage, too, just didn't know what he wanted out of that. And I think Detroit Become Human is going to be a different story in that regard.
Right.
So, we'll see. I do think...
Two Souls, take two.
Yeah. I do think that the celebrities pushing kind of nerd culture into the forefront is, a big thing.
Yeah.
I think of Michael B. Jordan, right, the guy from Black Panther.
Yeah.
Has talked how much he loves Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And then, so this goes beyond video games, right? And then you have
right, of course,
other celebrities, of course, gaming like that. And it's just, I think it's weird because you have these kids or these younger celebrities now, and I guess, younger than us, even though we're not that old, you see them kind of talking about this and pushing, their nerdy kind of interests on stuff like that. And so even like Snoop Dogg, right, streamed himself playing a survival game, SOS. What was that, like 3 weeks ago? And people lost their minds as Snoop Dogg was playing and streaming on Twitch. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more and more of that. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we see companies start to make sure they take advantage of this. I think right now it's genuine, right? Right now it's just, this guy wants to play. This guy enjoys this. But
I hope they don't shy away from that, though, to a certain extent. I mean, I can understand reaching out to celebrities and maybe seeing if they would want to. But, paying them to play maybe, I mean, I get it from a marketing standpoint, obviously, But, I think organically them playing something, I think is so much better. And makes people want to play it more.
And I do think that them doing it organically is what makes it more authentic. Whereas I think if you start getting into that zone where people will start paying or people start getting, celebrities start endorsing, I think you're going to start to see where that they get called out on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because gamers, let's face it, we are a fickle bunch, and so I would not be surprised.
What? We're fickle?
If they try to do that, if you see it get called out. And there's something cooler about a celebrity being like, oh yeah, I'll totally play Fortnite. I'll totally watch this anime or stream this or do that just excites people because it's more genuine.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
2 topics there, 2 for the price of 1 this week. You get celebrities in games and you get influences on games and if it's a benefit or a detriment. For the most part, it's worked out in our favor, I think, with influences. At least on the console space. I don't know about other ones, but mobile, it's a virus and a plague because you get something like Flappy Bird and there's not even influence. It's just straight out copying and plagiarism.
Something like what?
Like Flappy Bird a few years ago. Do you remember that on iOS?
Flappy Bird?
Yeah.
No, I don't have iOS, so I don't know.
I swore it was on other platforms. Flappy Bird was like, it was basically, it looked like you flew this little bird between like pipes like Mario Brothers.
Okay.
And right after that came out, everybody started making copies of that. It was Flappy Bird, and then it was like this celebrity's head flying through the pipes, and then this celebrity flying through the pipes, and then this animal. And so, I mean, iOS is just a rip-off mobile space where, you get one Clash of Clans, you get 30 different types of Clash of Clans.
Exactly.
And so I don't think it's been a negative thing so far in the console or PC space, but I do think that so far it's benefited people with the influences. So we'll just see how it continues to pan out.
Well, I think it's because it's that much more easily developed for iOS and Android, right? I mean,
oh yeah, you can rush that stuff out like it's nothing.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't have to be as good, and you can still make money off of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now let's go ahead and deal with this day in gaming history. Just a few things
history
that we want to talk about. So 2016, I thought I would mention Day of the Tentacle Remastered came out, as well as 101 Ways to Die, as well as the PS4 version of Bully. And then, of course, Fallout 4 had some DLC release that day, today, this day in history as well. This is, of course, a Thursday, as always, March 22nd. So if you're interested in what's happening on March 22nd in this day in gaming history, there you go. What else came out? Anything else good? Well, if you jump back to 2012, speaking of mobile, Angry Birds in Space came out. So there's that.
Is it Angry Birds in Space, or is it the Star Wars version of Angry Birds?
No, it was Angry Birds in Space.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you also have Crysis 2, released this year, 2011 this day. And I know I talked about Crysis 3, I feel like a while ago. So did Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, on PSP and Nintendo DS, also released this day.
The one thing that's a little confusing, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, go for it.
It says Manhunt on PS4.
Oh, maybe the digital, not remaster, but just the digital.
No remaster. I guess it's just like a digital copy of it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to go look for it. A little nostalgia play.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
And then if you jump all the way back to 2007, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was released in Australia on PlayStation 2. Ooh, if you're an Aussie. And then, of course, after that, really, speaking of, God of War was released on this day in 2005. So in the US and Canada. So that's kind of appropriate considering we talked about God of War in the topic. I promise I did not plan that. Or did I?
It's funny that you say that because I'm currently trying to look for a tie-in for the chainsaw.
Well, how about Resident Evil Survivor? Or Resident Evil Code X, Veronica X. That's in Japan. I don't know if that counts. I don't think you use a chainsaw on those. I have to double check. However, the original...
Wasn't there a fighting game with chainsaw in the title?
No. Are you not
like
thinking
Lollipop chainsaw thing?
That's by the same guys that made Let It Die and a couple of other good games. Suda 51. That was not a fighting game, but that was more like that was a button masher.
Oh, okay.
What's the one you love? I just drew a blank on. Goodness, how dare I? With Frank.
Oh yeah, Dead Rising.
Dead Rising, yeah. It was kind of like that, like the poor man's Dead Rising, I think. That was one of those games I always wanted to play and never got to. And then finally, 1987, the Wonder Boy Sega Master System version was released in Japan.
Wow.
So if you really want to go way back, Wonder Boy.
Way back.
All right. Well, nothing too terribly exciting there, except God of War, of course.
Yeah, of course.
That closes that chapter.
Oh, you forgot about Army Men 2 in 1999.
Oh, yeah. My sister and I played a lot of that.
Dude, I really enjoyed that game.
I know. It was trash, but I loved it.
They were so silly, but they were fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a new, better version of one of those.
Oh, yeah. That'd be so silly.
All right.
It could be a digital. A PS4 digital.
I would be okay with that, yeah. Yeah, like a new one, though. I wouldn't want remastered because I wouldn't play it.
Well, no, right, of course.
But, yeah, a new one would be good. All right, time to see you soon. And so this is where we list upcoming games released this week on the PS blog. And let me tell you, there is some good ones. This is a good week for PlayStation. A couple exclusives, a couple games I've been super pumped for that may finally stop me playing Monster Hunter World. We'll see.
Ooh-wee.
So let's go through these, not quickly, but quickly enough. First off, if you're a co-op person, and this is the one I'm probably the most excited about, other than Ni no Kuni, is A Way Out on PS4 digital and retail, and it's out actually on the 23rd, so it's not till tomorrow, so I'll have to wait one more day. The description doesn't do justice. It says it's prison spree co-op adventure from the director of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. And I didn't play Brothers, but I watched Olivia play through it, and
So your wife played it, right?
yeah, she played. Yeah, one of the few games she actually played. She played through the whole thing, controlling both with the thing. And so this one actually, they took it a step further. You need two people to play through the whole game, I think.
Yeah, it's co-op only.
Yeah, but from what I read in reviews, it's about 7 hours long, 5 to 7 hours long.
Yeah.
But I definitely would check that out. I might see if I can sell her on that. We'll see. Apparently it has a gut-wrenching ending, so I can't wait. Arc Park. I just like the name of this one. I think I might have to get this one. PSVR digital retail. It's out 3/22, which is today. It's a virtual reality adventure allowing players to get up and close and personal with dinosaurs and their immersive primal environments. And so you can hunt for dinosaur eggs. I think there's an escape from a dinosaur, like Jurassic Park style, different things like that.
Well, it's clearly the game Ark, right? Is there an Ark game?
No, there's Ark Survival. This is like the knockoff where you're in an amusement park.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but is it the same? Is it the same thing?
I don't know. From what I know, it's I don't think it's connected at all.
Oh, really?
I might be wrong on that. Let me look and see. I'm probably wrong. Oh no, I am wrong on that. It is connected to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, because it's the same
company. The same logo.
That A is the same logo for Ark.
Yeah.
That with the red and green on the. Yeah, so it's just like a park version. Which I see, that is a very smart use of VR.
Yes.
Like if they did because they're doing the discovery mode for Assassin's Creed. If they did Assassin's Creed Discover Egypt for VR, that would be crazy.
Yeah, it would.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That would be worth getting VR for, in my opinion.
I agree. And actually, well, I'll tell you right now, my personal opinion, so far from messing around with my VR, Super Hot Alone is, I have other ones I have to play, but Super Hot Alone makes it worth it for me. I will finish all 30 levels, and I will probably play through them again and again because it is just so much fun, particularly when you start to learn the layouts of those guys, and you just feel like a real badass for grabbing a bottle, throwing it to your left, knowing that there's a guy there without even having to look, grabbing the gun as it floats across your face, firing at the guy in front of you. I mean, there's just something about that.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered out on PS4 digital, and so I didn't get to play this, so I may, if I ever get to Origins, pick this up. I'm not even going to read the description. If you don't know what it is, it's the French and Indian
Shame
War.
on you.
The Brotherhood goes up dark, and you have to go through that. And so I'm not even going to read that, but if you missed out on it, you get a chance there.
You basically you're an assassin turned Templar, and he tries to get revenge on the Assassin Order.
Yeah, that's probably a better description, actually, than the one they have written up.
Right.
Assault Gunners HD edition. So this sounds like also an upgrade here. PS4 digital.
Right.
Join a battle mech peacekeeping force to protect the people of Earth and Mars with over 100 mech customization possibilities and an enthralling horde mode. Okay, cool. Attack on Titan 2, which I love the comics or the manga, and I love the anime. I haven't finished watching it all or reading it all, but this one's one of those ones that if it's on sale, I'll pick it up. PS4 digital retail. Abandon all fear in this gripping sequel to the action-based game on the worldwide hit anime series Attack on Titan.
Who just loves your weird anime games?
You know what? Blame it on the school I teach at. We got a bunch of anime kids there, and I just fell down the rabbit hole. Audio beats. This one looks cool to me, too. Just because I kind of think rhythm games work really well in VR because you can almost like you're playing drums or you're swinging something. It works really well.
Yeah.
PSVR digital. Audio Beats brings classic rhythm games to PSVR in the form of futuristic drumming kits.
That's cool.
And so I might check that one out with my Move and just my Move controllers and bang away on the drums. This next one looks like a Minecraft ripoff. Don't Bite Me, Bro. PS4 digital. Does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Take on the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, zombie fun world.
In 1 to 4 player couch co-op, and so I wonder if that's co-op only. 1 to 4 players because you can play by yourself, but it's like Minecraft Zombies.
Couch co-op, so it's like it's on the same console, same screen.
Yeah. Thanks. In case we didn't know what a couch was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't play on a couch. I play on a bed, but that's just because I don't
play on a couch either.
Has to do with the locale of my wonderful TV.
I am hoping to get out of this stupid chair that I record this podcast in and get something fancy. And so if you care about my comfort, you can head over to Patreon and help me out. Because I'm getting old and my back hurts.
Shameless plug for his sore butt.
It's my back more than my butt, dude. I can't.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I pulled my back out last week.
Such an old man.
Wait,
hey, listen. You are the one who chooses to do CrossFit. That is your life choice, my friend. There's other ways to exercise that will not break your back. I guarantee you that.
Time out.
So,
first off, I don't hear that chainsaw anymore, so what the heck? Two, I sneezed last week for the first time ever and hurt my back sneezing. So
that is ridiculous. You are officially too old.
I am. It's sad. So Earthblock Festival of Magic. This actually looks like one of the monsters from Shadow of Colossus on the cover. PS4 digital this week. Save the world of Umbra, a harsh planet that stopped spinning thousands of cycles ago from an ancient cult in this adventure RPG. Floor Plan, PSVR digital. I don't know how I feel about this one. I kind of want to check it out. I kind of don't. Board an elevator to a series of adventure puzzles that will keep you guessing. So you know those escape rooms on the iOS?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, like one of those click one. It's like a click to escape kind of thing in VR. I think that's what that is. And so I don't know how I feel about that.
Some of these images look a little weird.
Oh, really? I haven't looked at them.
Yeah.
So that's something I may check out. We'll see. The King of Fighters 1998 Ultimate Match from the PS2 era is coming to PS4 digital.
Wow.
And so if you've always wanted to play a game from 1998, the fighting game, King of Fighters, which I think I owned this one, go for it.
What? How is this $14?
Which one are we talking about?
The King of Fighters Ultimate Match.
Is it really?
Yeah, $14.99. $15, sorry.
Goodness. No thanks.
Right? Yeah, the floor plan's only it's 20% off. So it's normally $5, but I think it's like
I might have to check that out.
It's like $5.99, but it's
dirt
like
cheap.
$4.79 or something.
All right. Lunar Stone, Origin of Blood. This one's kind of weird looking. I don't know how to feel about this. Work to protect a set of magical moonstones from dark forces in this first-person shooter game designed for VR. Out digital 321. It looks like something from the PS1 era. Like just the graphics on the art cover look like PS1 era. And so we'll see. Mahjong. I feel like every 3 weeks we have a Mahjong game released. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like every 3 weeks we read one of these. Mahjong Gold is out PS4 digital this week. And you're looking for Long John Silver's Buried Treasure.
I mean, who isn't? You know?
That's true. Minefield, PS4 digital. You ever want to play Minesweeper on your PS4? Well, here you go. A twist on the modern twist on the classic Minesweeper style puzzle game. So they're now charging you for something you used to get for free. Kind of like water, bottled water.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here? Oh, Neuro Voider is out on the PS Vita this week, digital.
Ooh, right up your alley.
Twin stick shooter RPG set in a cyber futuristic world about brains shooting around evil robots with nuclear rocket launchers to defeat the master Neuro Voider. What?
Yep.
About brains shooting around evil robots. All right. Am I playing as a brain? Sounds like it.
Set in a cyber futuristic world about brains.
Yeah.
Man, some of these are just written so poorly, dude. What?
I know. I think.
Do they not proofread these?
No. I think Clements just slaps them up there.
Is it just like a translation issue? I just don't get it.
I don't either. Here's my top pick for the week. Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom's out. tomorrow.
I don't think anyone's heard of that one, so we can kind of just skip it.
Yeah, digital retail. I think this will be like Persona 5. I think it'll blow up. Re-enter the animated world of Ni no Kuni and the sequel to the role-playing masterpiece developed by Level 5. It's fixed all the issues with the original one, and this will appeal to you, Matt. They said this is a game where you can play straight through as an RPG role-playing game that you will never have to grind.
Ooh.
I heard that in a review today, and I was like, oh.
Fancy.
You know, because we know how much.
But it'll still take you 100 hours to complete.
Probably. Octahedron is out on PS4 Digital. Take on precision vertical action game set in a mysterious neon world. You must get into the flow of the pumping, atmospheric soundtrack as enemies and traps move along with the rhythm. RBI
Just
baseball.
looking at the things of that. Also, by the way, that is 25% if you're a PS Plus member.
Oh.
So it's normally $12.99, marked down at $9.74. But looking at these little screenshots, it actually looks pretty kind of cool and funky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of like Celeste-esque, but like maybe like with a funky beat. You know what I mean?
Maybe we'll have to check that out then. I was kind of writing it off.
Yeah, no, it looks. I mean, the screenshots look pretty cool.
Huh.
I mean, if it's got like cool, like bouncy kind of music, I don't know. I think it'll be kind of nifty.
Yeah, soundtrack
has like
will do
this
a lot.
neon, neon kind of vibe to it. Oh, asking you shall receive. The chainsaw is back.
All right. Perfect. Just in time. It ties into this next one. RBI Baseball 18.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Cutting down trees, making those bats.
That's right. PS4 Digital. Start a whole new ballgame in RBI 18 with all new franchise mode, home run derby, brand new detailed player models, hundreds of new animations, high fidelity MLB parks, and more.
This is the one that hasn't been around in a long time, right?
Yeah, I don't think.
Right.
I think
Didn't we talk about this like a couple of weeks ago?
We did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right. Where was that?
That's
Titan
cool, though.
Quest. PS4 digital retail. Ancient Titans have escaped their eternal prison, wreaking havoc upon Earth. The gods seek a hero who can turn the tide in an epic struggle that would determine the fate of both man and god in this action RPG.
Ooh.
This next one just makes me sad. Where are my friends? PS4 digital. But the description makes me happy. You're just an eyeball trying to find your friends in this experimental adventure where each level is a wildly different gaming style.
Gaming style, really?
Yeah. I don't know. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Last but not least, WoW is out this week, and it's not World of Warcraft. It's World of Warriors. On PS4 digital. Let battle commence. Coming exclusively to PS4, World of Warriors lets you summon the greatest warriors in history to do battle across the wildlands.
Cool. Ooh, The Greatest Showman. Sorry, that's on PlayStation Video.
Oh, yeah, I don't go through those.
Okay.
All right. That's it for See You Soon. My
See
pick
you
is Ni no
soon.
Kuni, personally.
Oh, of course it was, Rob.
Well, I mean, I'll also way out really leaning towards, but since I play by myself most of the time.
I mean, I think that Ark Park sounds pretty cool.
I thought so too, and then it was $50, and I said no, thank you.
Ark Park is $50?
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly built on the same engine and probably in the same, setting as Ark Survival.
Yeah. It better be something freaking amazing for $50. I mean, I'm cheap, but hey, whatever.
Wait, you're cheap?
Oh, I'm cheap.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm cheap.
It's almost like you plug people for money every
No.
30
I didn't say I was
minutes.
poor. I'm poor too, but I'm also cheap. Get it straight.
See, but how can that work? How can you be poor and cheap?
Well, maybe you're cheap because you're poor.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Boom. Solved it. All right. We usually do, the whole guess and trophy thing.
Yeah.
I was looking at these this week, and I found one game that kind of caught my eye. Mainly because the title is one of those ridiculous, has to be like a JRPG type thing or an anime novel one.
Yeah.
And I've come to realize that those have the best trophies. And so this is What would Matt do for that trophy? I think we should look at some of these. So let me give you the title of the game.
Okay. I was going to say, what should we do the band game from the UK?
Well, I mean, we can take a look at its trophies.
Yeah.
I can look and see if they're up. But this one is called Atelier Light Lady and Suel, The Alchemists and the Mysterious Paintings. And it also has an underage-looking two girls from like the 19th century on it.
Okay.
But they're anime-looking.
Yeah.
So I like some of these trophies. Some of them are just boring. Reach the shop ending, reach the good ending, reach the normal ending, reach S rank. Yeah, stupid. However, some of them aren't too bad. And so, I'm sure that the context would make much more sense, but I think we'll read just some of these because they're great.
Okay.
And this might tell us what type of game this is, too.
Yeah.
And so, would you prefer the description or the title of the trophy?
I don't mind either way. You tell me.
Okay. So, I'll start you off with something interesting. You need to give Plakta. I don't know how to say that name. You need to give whoever that is, looks like a girl, a massage. What's that called?
Massaging in the plaque.
In Seventh Heaven.
In Seventh Heaven. Oh.
Mm-hmm. This one's called Hey, Are You Listening? What do I have to do?
You have to ignore a character for 1 minute 30 seconds.
Oh, that's actually not bad. You have to witness heavy drinkers. What? I don't know. Now,
all right.
Here's the other one. There's one called Witness Weak Drinkers. What do you think that one's called?
So the heavy drinkers was called what?
Hey, Are You Listening?
The other one's called These Guys Talk Too Much.
No, it's called
Really? Just an exasperated ugh.
Yeah, ugh.
Ugh. Well, that's what I say to that trophy.
Here's another good one I thought I appreciated. The name of the trophy is called Meat is Love.
Me is love?
Meat. M-E-A-T.
Oh, meat. Oh, yeah, sure.
The name of the character is Fierce. What do you have to do with Fierce?
How is meat spelled?
M-E-A-T.
M-E-A-T. You gotta cook him a steak dinner well done, because clearly they love their well done steaks.
All right. You really like the well done steak trophies. This is Saw a Very Happy Fierce.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Here's another food one for you. Was treated to a wonderful potato stew. What do we call that trophy?
Wonderful potato stew?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
I guess. I don't know.
The Irish listeners are very upset right now. I would say potato famine.
No. I wish. The same exquisite taste.
The same exquisite taste.
There's no rhyme or reason to any of these.
Yeah, clearly.
No, that's why I like it. You can fry it, you can boil it. What do I need to do?
Well, you got to poach an egg, man.
All right, that's not bad. Collected all fish materials.
Fish materials? All right, I guess.
Let me see if there's any other good ones here. I mean, that was the one that stuck me out.
You can boil a fish?
Yeah.
You said boil or broil?
Boil.
You can't broil a fish.
Don't tell the Japanese that. That was pretty much it. I mean, there's one more that I thought was kind of funny. It's called I'll Show You Hell Next Time. It's Defeat the Girl Who Lives in the Dark Red World. But beyond that, I mean, it's just, some of them are just so bizarre like that. I just thought it was worth mentioning and checking those one out. What was the band game again? Golly.
Hold on.
I forgot already. That's how important it is. We're terrible. I know.
No, we got it. Omega Labyrinth Z.
Omega Labyrinth Z. Let me see if I can find that here. Omega Labyrinth. How do you spell L-A-B? I'd pretend I didn't say that.
Labyrinth.
Huh?
Labyrinth. R-L-A-B-Y. Labyrinth. R-I-N-T-H.
I knew that.
I know. I was just spelling it out for myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't see the trophies as being up yet.
Oh, come on, man.
I know. Well, you know what?
How dare they?
I promise we'll keep an eye on that, and as soon as
we
they
will,
pop,
for sure.
We will definitely talk about those trophies.
Yep.
I need to know. All right, that's it for the trophies. And Matt, believe it or not, we're at an end.
That's it?
Yeah, we've got
We
no
made
community
it?
people. I usually do a UR2 community shout out at this point, and guess
I
what?
know.
I'm dry on people to shout out to, and so if you want to see your stuff featured,
Of course, there was no hello, it's me, a listener.
no, there's no mail. I never get any mail.
I don't know.
You know, or if I do, it's always from Shane, which I appreciate. But you know, he's
Thanks,
one
Shane.
of our weekly listeners. I know we have others.
appreciate you, buddy.
We appreciate him. But you know what? We appreciate our whole community. I mean, I interact with a lot of people on Twitter every week. Sofa of Adam, over Soul Gaming, a couple other people as well. And actually, we might have something special coming up for y'all with a indie developer interview.
Ooh,
as soon as I
fancy.
can work out some details, we've got something special down the pipeline there too. So but if you want to see your stuff mentioned here on our podcast, if you create any kind of content, I don't care if you make sculptures for a living and you want me to talk about it. If you have an Instagram where you post them, let me know. Whether you have that, you have a SoundCloud, you have an iTunes account, you have, I don't know, Vine, you know it's dead, and you just want people to go visit your dead Vine account, I'll gladly shout that out too. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks.
Thanks for dealing with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
That is now our new outro music.
That's right.
All right, till next time. Game on.
Game on. Outro music. Outro music. Outro music. Jesus in the background. Outro music.
I feel, yeah, we need like a heavy metal.
That really hurt my